Hi guys, what's up? It's Madison. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today is just kind of like a part 2 of the video I posted last week, or I guess it was 2 weeks ago at this point. And I really do want to say thank you for everyone who watched it and for everyone who reached out. It really meant so much. I think I speak for both me and my friend Lauren Carr, who also has a channel and who also has been speaking out on this matter. I think I speak for both of us when I say that we did not expect the attention that our videos received, and we did not expect the feedback, and we just did not expect that much support. So thank you so much if you reached out and if you watched. And I really hope that even though my video was more on the how it affects me day to day and how it affects the black community day to day and just kind of like the raw emotions in the moment rather than the more factual side, I really hope that some of the things I said stuck and really helped some people gain different perspectives and things like that. But today I do want to kind of focus in on the facts a little bit more and try to educate a little bit more. Before I do all that, I want to start and address something that Lauren has also addressed and a lot of people have addressed in a lot of different ways, and that is the idea that this Black Lives Matter movement is like a trend. As you guys, most of you should know, Instagram and all of the social media platforms have just been flooded with Black Lives Matter stuff and all this awareness and sharing links and petitions and donation sites and all this stuff. But it's starting to die down. And the first week when all of this was really like hitting its peak and it was all like really intense, this was all that you would see. However, now that like the heat of it is over, some may say, it's starting to die down. It's starting to go back to normal. Instagram, Twitter, everything is starting to go back to what we all perceived as normal. People are starting to post their regular pictures and post their regular stuff. And I'm not saying that it's not okay to post regular stuff. I mean, me and all my friends, we literally just posted a bunch of like pool day pictures, and like I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is the fact that it's starting to get quiet. It's starting to not only go back to normal, but this movement is starting to shut down. Black Lives Matter is not a trend. Black Lives Matter is not an Instagram challenge. Black Lives Matter is not something that you should care about one minute and then the next minute it means nothing to you. That's not how this works. That's not how it should work, but that's what it is to a lot of people. A lot of people, this was, oh, black people are calling me out. I don't want to be on that list of people who is doing the wrong thing. So I'm going to say my little piece. I'm going to post an Instagram thing here. I'm going to put my little black square up, and that's going to be that. And I've used my voice. I've done what they said, and that's it. That's not how it works. And I get it, if you're white, it's hard for that to be like something that weighs heavy on your chest every second of every day. I understand that, because when you're white, you don't feel the pain. You don't understand the struggle. All you know is your part in the issue. But when you're on our side of it, it is not something that just because Instagram is getting quieter that we feel any less or matters any less to us. And so I just wanted to touch on that. Now I want to talk about why continuing to spread awareness and all this stuff is effective and helpful. Because I said in the last video why posting things and sharing things is important to us. But I want to talk about how it actually legitimately helps. Because I've had a lot of people ask me, well, I don't really understand at the end of the day how this actually helps anything. Posting spreads awareness to those who might not see this in their day-to-day lives. Like, for example, a lot of white people tend to have a lot of white friends. It's just how it works. It's just how a lot of people that have black people in their life only had those black people in their lives because they were kind of forced to, because they were around them all the time. I know at my school, I went to a PWI, predominantly white institution, and a lot of my white friends are my friends because we were in that small school. They've gone to college, and a lot of my white friends don't have a lot of black friends in their circle and in their, surrounding environment. And with that being said, while they may care and while they may have the right heart and the good intentions, there might be people in their friend group that don't. There might be people in their friend group that secretly might be racist or might not care or might not see it as important. But if they see that you care, then they'll care too. They might not care right away. They might not start saving the children in Africa, but it will get their attention. They'll be like, okay, maybe I should pay more attention to this. This person in my life that I respect cares, so maybe I should look into it. Maybe I should pay attention. And your voice might just be the voice that gets the right person's attention. But what we need to do is get those people who don't care, who don't see it, who don't understand, to have a different perspective. And you might be the person that does that. You might be the person that gets your sorority sister or fraternity brother to take a minute from their everyday white privileged life and be like, okay, this is a real issue. Let's talk about signing petitions. What do signing petitions do? They do a lot of things. But most importantly, signing petitions puts pressure on the government. Signing these petitions show, number one, that all of the people are standing together. The government likes to divide the country. The government likes to put us on two different sides of an argument. As we've seen, as we know, that's how our country works. And I'm not saying that signing a petition is going to be the magic thing that fixes it, but signing petitions help because it puts that political pressure on the situation. And it pulls people together, and it makes one issue everybody's issue rather than a left side issue or a right side issue, because this is not a political issue. This is a human issue. This is everybody's issue. And if you still see it as a political issue, then you are part of the problem. Now let's talk about donating. So what does donating do? Well, I want to focus on donating to black businesses. Donating to black-owned businesses helps close the wage gap. Now, I know I'm not oblivious to the fact that the racial wage gap in this country is so far beyond a bunch of people giving a couple bucks here and there. I'm very much aware of that. But what that does is, number one, it supports these black-owned businesses. It spreads awareness about these black-owned businesses. And again, it puts pressure on the idea of the wage gap. Right now, black people make about 14.9% less than white people do in the workforce. And that number should not sit right with anybody. That wage gap is the foundation of a lot of things that are broken within this system. So donating really helps support getting rid of the wage gap and really just gets those businesses out there and gets them more attention. And then donating to the Black Lives Matter movement, all of those things help people make real change, whether that's support groups, whether that's youth groups, whether that's inner city funding, whatever it may be. The Black Lives Matter movement is about so many things other than police brutality, and donating to these organizations and donating to these businesses help support the movement as a complete whole system, not just police brutality. Make sure that when you do donate, that you do your research on what you're donating to, and then you really try to understand why. Understand why you're donating to this specific black store or this specific black organization. Really try to understand why. So please keep donating, please keep signing petitions, and keep posting, because all of those things do have significant effect. I want to talk about defunding the police, because this is something that a lot of people have struggled with, and I've heard a lot of different arguments about this, and a lot of people don't support it, and a lot of people do support it. I do support it, and I want to explain why, because I don't think a lot of people truly understand what defunding the police means and what it does. So everything I'm about to say, I will link all of this information in my description box, along with links to donation sites, other information, petitions, everything I can find. But I got all of this information from a really, really inspirational Instagram account, and I will tag it down below. I have learned a lot from this account, and I've reposted a lot of the stuff. And so for those of you who follow me on Instagram, might have already seen this and might have seen this floating around on other people's Instagrams, because it broke it down really, really well. Now, defunding the police does not mean getting rid of the police entirely. Let's just get that out the way. Defunding the police means reducing the police budget nationwide and relocating all of that money to education, healthcare, housing, different types of youth groups, things like that. The police force is way overfunded. For example, in New York, the NYPD, its annual budget is about $5.8 billion a year. That is more than education, the healthcare system, and housing budgets combined. We're putting money into our education systems, our healthcare systems, our employment, all of these things will help reduce the crime rate significantly. A lot of the crime in this country is a result of these underprivileged and these underfunded institutions. Well, a lot of people don't have money for healthcare. A lot of people don't have money to get an education, so they can't get a job. And so being on the streets, and that's their only way of life. So many of the world's problems is due to the lack of funding that all of these institutions have. And the police, they do too many things. And I know Lauren, my friend Lauren, and seriously, if you guys haven't watched her videos on this, she did a phenomenal job explaining all of these things that I'm talking about, and she went into more depth in her first video about the idea of systemic racism and kind of breaks it down. So please, 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 if you haven't, go watch her videos as well, because they're amazing. But she talked about this in her recent video, that the police do way too many things. It doesn't make sense that when someone is ODing on a drug, the police are called. It doesn't make sense that when somebody's having a psychotic break, the police are called. The U.S. spends about $80 billion on incarceration a year. And if you think about that money and you think about the numbers, it makes sense. Because the U.S., I'm sure you guys have heard this statistics 1,000 times, but the U.S. makes up 5% of the world's population, but we make up 25% of the world's incarceration population. And so if you think about, we put $80 billion into incarceration every single year. Imagine if that money were spread out over all of the institutions I already mentioned. How much better and how much crime would be reduced, because people would have the ability to get an education. People would have the ability to access healthcare. People would have the ability to join different youth groups and support groups. And all of these petty crimes and all of this money that is funded into the police and into police brutality wouldn't be as large and wouldn't be as significant. It is studied that a black person is incarcerated 5 times the rate of a white person. 1 in 3 black men are expected to be incarcerated over the course of their lifetime. Those numbers are heartbreaking. Once you get incarcerated, that is what your life is. Because if you're black and you have a record, you're not going to get a job. McDonald's isn't going to hire you. Walmart's not going to hire you. You are not going to get a job. And so you are forced into the same life, and then you are in the same system for the rest of your life. You're forced to go back into the same life you were in to survive. I've read a lot of different things about a lot of different people in jail and things like that, and a lot of people have said that being in jail is more stable than not being in jail. And that is such a sad reality. If you just take a minute and do your research and understand how this whole country is built to benefit white people but suppress black people, then you will understand why your voice is so important and why you have power and how you can use your power. If you're white and you're tired, imagine how we feel. So I challenge you, if you're white and if you're tired, take a breath, but don't stop. Don't stop fighting, don't stop posting, don't stop donating, don't stop educating yourself. Research, spend some time. It takes 5 minutes to read an article. 5 minutes out of your day. And that article might change someone's perspective. The article might help someone you know and care about. Please, 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 keep pushing, keep fighting, keep speaking out, keep having a voice. And remember, if you are watching this video, there is a black person in your life, and it is your problem. With that being said, you guys, that is it for this video. I hope it made sense. I know it was a little all over the place. Hopefully you learned something. Like I said, I will link all of the information that I used, all of the stats and things like that. All that information will be in the description box. I will post different petitions and donation sites. And if I can find any educational articles or anything like that, I will also put it in the description box below. Again, thank you so much. If you stayed all the way through, I really appreciate it. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.